This is a short video that will introduce the concept of lists in Python. What is a list? A list is a way of managing in-memory data. Now, what do I mean by in-memory data? Well, currently we have variables, and those variables store some piece of information. In this case, myVar equals hello. And that's great and wonderful. But what if I want 10 or 5? And I have to do myVar equals hello1, myVar 2. I have to define individual variables for each given element that I want. And that's not efficient. It's not efficient from a coding perspective at all. So what we need is we need a way to manage large volumes of data without having to define a variable for each piece of data. And that's where lists come in. Actually, lists and dictionaries come in. Lists is going to be our first introduction to in-memory data storage and in-memory management. So if I wanted to create a list, it's very simple. It's, again, my variable name. I'm going to name it myList. And I'm going to use a new construct. This new construct is the open and close square brackets. And this tells Python that I have just created an empty list. There's nothing in the list, and if I print my list, nothing will show up. So let's just do that. Well, all I got is the empty brackets. There's nothing in that list. But let's say I wanted to fill that list out. Let's say I didn't know how many somebody was going to input a variable n. And I'm going to say n is 10. And I want to put hello plus the number into my list. I can easily write a for loop for counter in range 0 to n, and I can add or append to this list I've created. I can say mylist dot append, and then I give it what I want to append. In this case, I want to say hello and then the number, and I'm going to say % here and counter. Okay, and what this will do is this will take my list, and I'm going to print it down here, and it will put hello and then the number. So let's run current and see what happens. See if I made any mistakes. I didn't make any mistakes. Here you see we have the first instance of printing my list, and my list has nothing in it. Here you see the second instance of printing my list, and it prints hello and then the number of the counter. So I have very easily, with just 2 lines of code, replaced 10 variables. And the nice thing about this is, so we don't need these guys anymore. These guys are going to go away. That if I change n to 27, what do I get? I get 27 entries in my list. So I have created a list that has 27 entries. So what we have done is we have created an empty list called myList by using the square brackets with nothing in them. I have printed out my list to make sure that there is no nothing in the list, and then I've used 2 lines of code to fill in that list using .append on my list. So the convention is my list variable, whatever it is, .append, and then the information you want to put in. In the next video, we're going to discuss how to access that information. This has been a short introduction to lists in Python.